We're joined now from Los Angeles by Roger Simon, who's voting member of the Academy of Motion Pictures. But first from New York by Lynda Blackmon Lowery, the youngest person to take part in the historic 1965 march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. She's just written a book recounting her memories of it. And I'm wondering, Lynda Blackmon, whether in fact you now feel that America has moved on. You have a black president, but at the same time, you have the events of Ferguson and the events of New York. Where do you feel America is now in relation to what you experienced in Selma?
I feel that America is at a standstill. We need to look at what we have done and really where we are. We are at a standstill as far as a nonviolent movement, as far as having a leader, as far as focusing on what the problems were that led to what has happened, say in Ferguson and other and on Staten Island and around this country with the deaths of young black men.
So, in fact, I mean, the timing of this film is extremely important, and presumably there's a whole generation in America who really have no idea, really, of the precise facts of Selma. Do you feel that this film will help to make a contribution in perhaps moving things on?
I definitely do. I feel it because the Selma movement had a concrete goal. That was the goal of getting voting rights for everyone. The movement today, I hear a concrete, something concrete that would make me join a demonstration or a march, and that is that Black Lives Matter. If you don't have something concrete to focus on, then you are just, to me, fighting blindly.
Well, let's go to Los Angeles, and Roger Simon, let's focus on what happened in the Academy nominations. You have a situation in which, literally, there are no non-white nominations in your lineup in terms of actors. Why do you think that is in this age?
I think it's an accident.
Is it?
No reason at all. I think it actually was an accident. I mean, sometimes there are lots of them and sometimes there aren't. And I don't think it really had to do with anything. And I think lumping this together with Ferguson and Staten Island is an inaccuracy. I mean, I'm an Academy voter. I'm also a former civil rights worker. I was in voter organizing in South Carolina in 1966 as a kid, slightly after Selma, obviously. And I didn't vote for the movie because I didn't think it was quite as good as some of the other movies. I thought it was a good movie. And I think that it's really no more complicated than that. I think the Academy actually often bends over backwards to give minority people more credit. So I don't think it's actually fair. But I mean, it's a separate issue, yeah, and it's an accident of voting.
But in terms of toiling for civil rights, which you say you have done in the past and probably still do, there's something odd about something so culturally vital as the Academy having, what is it, 7,000 members, of whom 94% are white, and most of them are the median age is 62. It's not exactly representative of American culture, is it?
No, it's not. That I will recognize. I mean, the agedness, myself included, of the Academy members probably has to do with the fact that it's an honorific and you have to have made a few movies before you get in. I mean, that's natural in an organization like that. And the fact that it's too white is also a factor of the history of America. But I think the individual members themselves, you'll find, since way back in the days of Raisin in the Sun, which was a movie made, I think, in 1960, have pretty much skewed toward very pro-civil rights. I don't think there's anything to this fact that
Let me very quickly put one fact in, and that is that Rotten Tomatoes, which is the website which pulls together all the cinema critics, votes that this is the highest rating of all the current release films. 99% they rated. So, I mean, there is something a bit odd here, isn't there?
Maybe, but I don't think it's quite as odd as you say, because the Academy of filmmakers and critics are critics, and those are. As someone who's made movies, I look at movies very differently from critics. Unfortunately, because I think that's one criticism you could have of the Academy, but it's more of an aesthetic criticism than it is a political one. It's a weird criticism, but Pete, once you've been inside the filmmaking process, you regard films differently. It's weird.
Roger Simon, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much for joining us. And Lynda Blackmon Lowery, thank you very much. I wish we'd had longer to talk with you. Thank you. Kathy.
Thanks, John.